here's the thing about accountants. Usually they're not super successful, but entrepreneurs can be. And that's why they hate me sharing these little secrets with you. I'm going to break down the things that I do differently. And I've had lots of accountants over the years advise me against these tactics. And I'm telling you now, they work. Now, the first thing I want to talk about are these people, bookkeepers. Now, bookkeepers are the magic sauce. They're the ones that have really taught me about understanding the numbers in your business. So you've got the accountants, these are the qualified people, but these people, the bookkeepers, are usually the ones that do all the work. They're the ones that prepare your accounts. Lots of people outsource their bookkeeping to their accountants, thus paying their accountants anywhere between 100 and 350, maybe more if it's a city accountant, to do basic bookkeeping work. Top piece of advice that I have got to give any entrepreneur is bring your bookkeeping in-house. I actually also say, because I'm a big fan of accountants, you absolutely need accountants. They're amazing people. They're just not entrepreneurs in many cases. Your job is to make sure you understand your numbers, you prepare your numbers, and you tell your accountant to make it as tax efficient as possible. So you know your numbers in-house. This is really important. I cannot stress this enough. This has been the game changer of my career. You know your numbers. And bookkeepers can teach entrepreneurs and business owners about management accounts, about cash flow, about offsets, or should we capitalize something? Should that be on balance sheet, off balance sheet? I've learned everything from bookkeepers. I've had amazing bookkeepers that work for me. And here's the thing, I think you should make that one of your first employees, should I say, because once you know your numbers in-house, you can just become so much more profitable. But remember this, if you outsource it, you're paying anywhere between 100 and 350 pounds, where you can bring it in-house and you can pay anywhere between 17 and 30 pounds an hour for a good bookkeeper. Plus you're going to get a lot more value. Plus you're going to get to know your numbers. You're going to have it far more on demand. You must make sure that you're producing management accounts by the 10th day of the month for the previous month's trading. And that gives you a set of instructions on how to run your business, whether you made a profit or a loss, or where there can be savings. And bookkeepers, these really good bean counters, can tell you all that good stuff. So that's my first tip. Make sure you're doing your bookkeeping in-house. Don't get your accountant to do the bookkeeping, because I'll tell you what they're doing. They're employing a bookkeeper to do all the books for you and then charging a margin on top. So if you want to save yourself some money, make more money, and have your numbers at your fingertips, bring it in-house, gang. Point number 2 is understanding what tax incentives are available in the marketplace. Now, one of my businesses has something called theatre tax relief. Unless you're doing performance or anything like that, you wouldn't know about theatre tax relief. But theatre tax relief is like a R&D tax credit. If you're creating scripts or doing rehearsals, there's actually a tax incentive for theatres and plays and stuff like that. Now, I found out about that in my business and told my accountant. The thing is, there are so many nuances to tax. What's really important that you, the business owner, don't just rely on your accountant to tell you all the good things out there that could be an incentive for your business. You need to go out there, do the research, and then tell them to implement the stuff that you learn. Now, they might not like that, and in my experience, it means that you've got one up on them. But it's your responsibility. They don't know everything because they're a broad church. You know, they're doing stuff for plumbers, they're doing stuff for builders, they're doing stuff for restaurants and hotels, for childcare and care homes and software people. And you know your individual industry. So theatre tax relief, R&D, capital allowances. This is when you buy commercial property. You can get massive capital allowances which you can offset against future tax bills, for example. It's really important that you find out through your own research how you can get these tax incentives. And there are so many. It might mean, and they're not going to like this either, it might mean that you have to pay another set of accountants a few £100 to get a second opinion on what your accountant's telling you. Now, I've done this many times in my career. I'll give you another example for another professional industry, solicitors. I once got another solicitor to check my stamp duty bill that my current solicitor had sent me, and this other solicitor said, whoa, you've overpaid there, and saved me around £45,000 on stamp duty. Now, paying that £300, £400, £500 for a second opinion saved me tens of thousands of pounds in that story. Now, the same is for your accountant. If you've got a big deal going on. You're doing a big transaction and your accountant that you've used, maybe granddad's recommended them, your dad's recommended them, or great Aunt Maud has always used them. It's really important that you do pay just a few £100 to get a second opinion. They might not like that, but I'm telling you now, by doing that in my business, I've saved tens of thousands of pounds. Now, when you get going in business, usually we trundle along to our accountant and we get their advice. Maybe you need to borrow some money to open that second site or buy some stock. Your accountant, in many ways, is the first place that you go to. What if you had an accountant in-house? I'm not talking about a bookkeeper here. I'm talking about an actual accountant. And this is where the game changes. An accountant in-house, a fully qualified accountant in-house. Because I tell you now, if you trundle into a bank and say, I've got an in-house, fully qualified accountant that works for me full-time, that bank manager is getting very excited because they know that you've got great financial due diligence at your fingertips. This FD or CFO that we call them, Chief Financial Officer or Finance Director, once you've got this in-house, I cannot stress to you the relief this can make for a business owner. You'll understand your numbers better. You'll have someone going to raise finance. They'll be on all the tax stuff. They'll know your industry better. You'll have a great conciliary to talk to, and banks and financial institutions, investors, people that are lending money literally love it. They won't go to you straight away and say, oh, you must employ an FD in-house if you want to borrow the money. Oh, absolutely not. They would never be that discriminatory. But if you do have it in-house, I'm telling you now, that is a 5-star reward for you in terms of the credit committee that are going to lend you the money. Having an in-house accountant, I honestly believe once you've got going in business, you should employ this person before you can afford them. Because if you get the right one, they are free and they will make you so much money because you'll be able to get cheaper loans, you'll be able to get better controls on your money, they'll find money that you didn't know existed, they'll just do everything for you, they'll take loads of stress away from you, they'll give you more time so that you can go and get more customers and bring in more cash flow, bringing an accountant in-house. Do you know what? Some accountants don't like that because they've got a fee to do this for you and they want that fee. But actually, what I say to people is, say you're paying your accountant, you're a big business, you're paying them 25 grand a year to do your VAT returns, your PAYE, your year-end accounts and a bit of advice. What if you only had to pay them £3,000-4,000 a year to sign your accounts off and you put that 21,000 that's left towards a salary of an FD and then top it up with a bit more cash, but you get so much more financial control. Maybe your loans might come down because they're going to shop it around. Maybe they'll save you money by investment schemes they know that the government are doing, where your accountancy practice that are usually so busy just might not have the time to find all those savings and extra cash for you. So bring an accountant in-house as soon as you can and you'll thank me for it. If you're a good entrepreneur, like you've really got the bug and you know how to make money, I want to tell you a little fact. You will always out-earn one of these, a pension. Now, accountants, including my accountant, who I love, by the way, who's a very good friend and someone I very much trust, always says, oh, James, you should put some of your money into a pension. Well, I am my own pension. There are some tax advantages with pensions. I absolutely agree. If you inherit some money or you're a CEO or a director of a business, absolutely you should invest some of your cash in a pension. But if you're an entrepreneur, I think you will always out-earn a pension. Say you put 100k into a pension each and every single year. You're losing that £100,000 worth of cash flow and the government tops it up, and then when you're 55 you can get a lump sum, blah, 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 blah. But what if I told you that at the end maybe your pension pot's £3 million and you're 60 now when you claim that? What if you start putting your £100,000 into more trading businesses or into commercial property from now, putting deposits and then putting mortgages towards it? That means you start generating income now, not when you're 60 years old. And this is the big thing. If you can have the income now, put it into commercial property and see the capital growth of the commercial property grow, but actually have income now. I think for entrepreneurs, you'll always out-earn a pension. That's my opinion. I know I've made videos about this before and people disagree with me and think I'm wrong. Well, I want someone to prove to me. If you're very entrepreneurial, this is the big caveat here. If you're very entrepreneurial and you know how to generate millions of pounds worth of cash each and every single year, you know how to turn a profit, why would you put your cash into something you don't get a return for years until you get to pension age. Even if the tax efficiencies that go into pensions, which I agree they are, I don't see how they can out-earn me. If I had £1 million in a lump right now, I could go and buy commercial property and turn that into at least £100,000 a year. In 10 years' time, my commercial property probably will double in value. And between that and then, I've also had £1 million worth of rent. So my 1 million has turned into £1 million of capital appreciation, £1 million of rent roll. I don't see a pension doing that. I'm obsessed with the idea of a pension. Actually, from when I was self-employed at 16 years old, I bought a property when I was 18, then at 19, and then I was 20, and I kept on buying property. So I believe I am my own pension. I love the philosophy of a pension, planning for when you're older. But if you're entrepreneurial, that's the big caveat here. If you're entrepreneurial, I think you can put your cash to work in trading businesses and owning commercial property. Now, I know a lot of people will say, but you can own commercial property in a self-invested pension plan, but you can't leverage it as much as possible. You can't borrow as much as possible if you bought it in a limited company. That is just my opinion. I don't want to give tax advice. I'm not doing that here. I'm just saying, if you're seriously entrepreneurial, I just want to labour the point one more time. If you're seriously entrepreneurial and you know how to make money, I think you should be your own pension. And that's my opinion. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'm going to go back to the video in just a moment, but I want to tell you about one of my best habits, and it's becoming a scribe, writing. I write a letter, a newsletter, every single weekend to help entrepreneurs and business owners. I release it at 7 a.m. every Monday morning. And it's all about my thoughts of the previous week or things that I think could really help entrepreneurs and business owners grow. It's like self-therapy for me because I know that I need to do the things that I'm telling people to go and do. Lots of people say it's the best thing that I produce out of all of my content. Better than these videos, better than the podcast. So if you'd like to receive my letter, and it's completely free, you have to sign up at my website, jamessinclair.net. Click on the letter button on the website and then subscribe, and you'll receive the newsletter every Monday morning at 7 a.m. You'll be able to get inside my brain. What a thought. Right, let's get back to the video. Lots of accountants act as counsellors for entrepreneurs and business owners. You know, yes, you go to them for tax advice, but usually they're the people that hold your secrets. They're the people that know just how stressful it is, or if you're in a pain point in business, we turn to them for advice. Even me, I do that still to this day. But I think one of the big things that they don't necessarily tell you, because you might not want to be in this position, is you make lots of money when you sell a business. It is, in my opinion, near on impossible to make lots of money from trading a business unless you stick at it for decades and decades. Now, here's the caveat to this. Say you've got a business and it does 10 million turnover and it makes £1 million profit a year. You think, well, hang on a sec, James, I'm really happy making my £1 million profit. But you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, and you see an opportunity over here to create another revenue stream or to build another site. So you take your million and you reinvest it to try and turn this 10 million into 12 million or 15 million, I don't know. And so the cycle goes. You're putting your cash to work and keeping very little for yourself. And you know, like I know, if you extract some of this 1 million into your personal bank account, it's very, very taxing. If you took £1 million out in one single year, if you're a business, you're more or less paying half to the tax man. What's really important is that you understand selling a business has a capital gains tax rate that is way, way lower than income tax. At the moment, at the time of recording, you'll pay 10% on the first 1 million and then 20% any month after that in your lifetime. So way, way less than dividends and income tax. But I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs learn that from their accountant. Their accountant just tells them to be steady Eddie, carry on. Next year, you might grow a little bit more. You can take a bit of a dividend. But if you want to make a lot of money, you've got to build a business and you've got to sell a business, because selling a business is where the real cash is made. You'll remember in the last point I said most accountants don't tell you that selling a business is where most of the money's made. But actually, most accountants won't tell you just how flipping hard it is in business. We know the facts that most businesses fail. Most businesses absolutely fail. That is an absolute guarantee. In fact, 50% are usually gone within the first couple of years, 80% by year 5, and only 5% make it to their 10-year birthday. I mean, that is such horrific facts. Most of you will fail, and I don't think most accountants tell you that. What are the traits of businesses that do succeed? Well, accountants. They make a lot of money. They're a professional service. And if you look at professional services like accountants, like solicitors, like dentists, like doctors, there's a similarity with these businesses, and these are love, want and need businesses. And this is where the ones that make the most money. And if your business is not one of these, then you're going to be in trouble. Let's have a look at the dentists and the doctors. People want to be healthy, they need to be healthy, and they love feeling healthy. It is a love, want and need business. Solicitors, you're moving house, you want to buy a house, you love your own home, you want your own home, you need your own home. A restaurant, for example, yeah, I love going out for meals. I'd want to go out for a meal, but I don't need to go out for a meal. I can eat at home. And most businesses have 2 of these elements and not all 3. And the businesses that have love, want and need are usually the ones that are way more profitable. Also, businesses that have the rule of 4, where people buy from you in 4 quick successions. This is why supermarkets are such great business models, because a supermarket, people go on a Monday, they might pick up a bit more food on a Friday, they might pop in again on a Sunday, but within a month they've gone there so many times in quick succession that they're building habit, and so they're less fickle to the marketplace. One of the reasons why I invested in my day nursery business. Children come on a Monday, then they come back on the Tuesday, then they come back on the Wednesday, then they come back on the Thursday. We're really getting to know them. We're building relationships. So businesses that have the rule of 4, that are love, want and need businesses, like education, people love their children to be educated, they want them to be educated, they need them to be educated. They're the businesses that make money. And lots of people go to their accountants and say, well, hey, look, I've got a business here, things are okay, and they have to carry on serving them. And it's only the brave accountants that will say, actually, I'm sorry to say, but your model isn't set up for profitability. Your model is set up for turnover. You'll keep turning money. You'll just about survive. You might pay yourself a wage. You need to find the models that are set up for profitability. And this is watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, going to seminars, reading books. The better you read, the more you'll lead. And I think it breaks my heart how many entrepreneurs and business owners are just building businesses for generating revenue. And they've like got a pickaxe and they're going underground looking for that pot of gold. They go, oh God, just one more year, eventually we'll find the pot of gold. But actually, if the model's naff, and actually you want the good accountants, and there are a few that will tell you, do you know what? I'm just letting you know, what you're going to have here is a lifestyle business. You can have a business that's just going to pay you a wage. You're never going to make a lot of money from it. And if you're okay with that, crack on. Whereas the good accountant should be saying, you know what? Your model isn't good enough. It's never going to make you a lot of money. Are you okay to carry on? That's what this channel's here to tell you, because that is most businesses, by the way, gang. It's a data-driven fact. Now, the last point on accountants is they are safe and steady. And that's why we need them. By the way, they are bean counters. And you need bean counters to make the entrepreneur super successful. But knowing they're safe and steady, most of them are not super successful. And we're taking our best advice from people that are not super successful. We're taking our best advice from people that are safe and steady. Unless you get through. Because like anything in life, I've met some amazing accountants, top level accountants that think more like entrepreneurs, that go, yeah, let's find a way to raise that 10 million. Let's find a way to build this business so it's a commercially profitable enterprise. Let's build a business so that someone wants to buy it. So actually, our business isn't an business anymore. It's actually an investment. How can we turn your business so it looks like an investment? Because when your business looks like an investment, it's worth a lot of money. Because most people think, well, I'm going to sell my business and then no one buys it. Only a few businesses get sold for the big money. The ones that get sold for the big money are not looking like businesses, they're looking like investments. This is why lots of people like investing in property, because they think it's an investment. Most businesses fail. The ones that are successful, the ones that are dressed and masquerade and actually look and feel and are investments. And so you want to find the best possible accountant. This is not slagging off accountants, by the way, this video. I'm very lucky to have an amazing set of accountants that work for me, that are around me, and they're the best people. But I've changed accountants over the years because I've realized that most of them are safe and steady. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, you want an accountant that's super successful, that's taken a bit of risk. If you're a property entrepreneur, you want to find an accountant that owns lots of property. If you are an entrepreneur that wants to sell their business, you need to find an accountant that's helped sell lots of businesses so they can give you some great advice on how you can be super successful too. And the big thing, this is the last point that I want to make about this video, and I alluded to it earlier in the video, you will be handed down trusted advisors through friends and family, especially with solicitors and accountants. Well, how do you know that they're the best ones if you haven't tried 3 or 4 others? And I think that is a big folly that lots of entrepreneurs and business owners are faced with. They are with the wrong set of professional advisors. And that goes for your banks as well and any other professional advisors. Sometimes it might be just smart to have a little shop around and see what else is out there. And if you really trust your current professional advisor, don't forget, just get a second opinion from another accountant, another solicitor. And you might be just shocked how much money that can make you or save you. That's one of the best things I've ever done. Till the next video, make sure you subscribe to this channel, make sure you like, and let me know in the comments what you think.